From Bashar Communications, and I'd like to welcome you to this exciting evening of Contact with Bashar. This is the first night of a weekend event. Tonight, Bashar will be focused on the topic of shifting through infinity. And that, from what we know about it so far, has to do with becoming more aware of how we operate in our lives and we shift from parallel reality to parallel reality. And that will lead into tomorrow's session, which is called in the morning Sacred Circuitry. And that has to do with how our brains are wired and activating certain areas of our brains to create certain states of being. And then in the afternoon, Bashar will be giving us a guided meditation with the holotope. That's the large visual artwork that you see here on the left. And I guess lastly, I wanted to mention to everyone that I do take people on dolphin swims in Hawaii, and I've been fortunate enough to take some of the people in here. And just to share with you all that the last time I was there, the interactions with the dolphins intensified so much that I'm not even really sure what's going on yet, except that it may be that we've been swimming with them for about 15 years. And so the children, the dolphin babies, they grew up swimming with us, so they know us. So now when we swim with them, they treat us like we're one of the pod. They surround me sometimes. They're just inches away. And an interesting behavior that started, I've had dolphins sticking out their tongues at me and like laughing, you know. So it's really interesting that they're engaging in new forms of communication, and it's always an exciting experience. You know, they're filled with so much love. So there's some flyers outside if you're interested, if you come to Hawaii. And also, I'm going to be putting together a trip swimming with the humpback whales in the Dominican Republic this year. So I just need to know how much interest there is. So if after the session you're interested, if you would send me an email, I'll communicate with you, and we'll see about putting together a trip in February or March. And there will be some participation from Bashar on that trip, but we haven't exactly figured out how that's going to be yet, right? But I'll give you a little clue that there will be. Daryl won't be on the trip, but Bashar will
show up. I don't know.
Okay, so without further ado, I'd like to turn it over to Daryl and Bashar and to thank both of them for opening up this unique window into another dimension and providing us with energy that allows us to take the next step in our evolution as a consciousness. So thank you, Daryl and Bashar.
Thank you, April.
Thank you.
All right, well, can everyone hear me okay? Okay. I know you won't have any problem hearing Bashar. He's a lot louder than I am. Thank you again for being here tonight. We really appreciate you coming out to play and have some fun. For the people that are new, let me bring everyone up to speed real briefly with a little bit of background on what this is and how it happened. About 37 years ago, here in LA, I had two very close broad daylight UFO sightings. First time about 150 feet away, the second time only about 70 feet away. Both times with witnesses, thank God. And each time was a black equilateral triangular ship about 20, 30 feet on a side. And after having seen that, now that I knew such things existed, I wanted to find out more about that. So I started researching about UFOs. My research over the years led me to become somewhat more familiar with other aspects of metaphysical studies, because especially back then, this was like in the early 70s, there weren't many books on the subject, and they used to all sort of be on the same shelf in the bookstore in the back. So if you started with one, you just kind of like went down the line, and eventually I started reading some books on channeling, particularly the Seth books that existed back then. 10 years after the sighting, I was actually introduced to a channel. And went to those seminars for a while to further my research and understand what that process was about. And eventually the entity coming through that channel actually offered to teach channeling for whoever was interested. Now, I went into that class not because I wanted to be a channel consciously. I just wanted to further my research, and I wanted to understand how something like channeling could be taught. When I was in that class, which was basically a series of different kinds of meditations to put you in touch with whatever you wanted to get in touch with, I was in a meditative state, and in the middle of that meditative state, coupled with some other things that had happened in the class, I received what I can only describe as kind of an automatic download, a telepathic contact. And in one split second, it was like a memory came back of having agreed to do this channeling in this life with Bashar. In that same second, I understood that the UFO had been shown to me on purpose to get me to start learning what I needed to learn, so that by the time it came time to start the channeling, I would be prepared. And the question that was there in the telepathic contact was, now that you remember you made this agreement, and now that you know it's time to begin, is this something you would still like to do? It was offered as a choice. I thought about it for a while because I wanted to make sure that what was going on in my head wasn't simply some hallucinatory byproduct of the meditation. I didn't really know what to expect. But by that time, I had heard enough information from the entity through the other channel to know that the real point of channeling is not even so much where it's coming from, whether that's real. I can't prove that Bashar exists anyway. The point of this is the information does seem to have the ability to help people make the kind of changes in their lives that they wish to make, and that's why we continue to do the channeling, which I've now been doing for the past 27 years. The word Bashar came at that moment of telepathic contact, and I simply assumed it was his name. But in their society, they're telepathic. They don't have names. They don't need them. He knew we needed to call him something, and so the word was there. It is actually an Arabic word. I am partly Arabic, but I don't speak the language, and so I really had no idea what it was until a couple of years after I actually had started channeling publicly. Someone came up to me and said the word Bashar was Arabic, and did I know what it meant? And I said, no, I have no idea. He said the word means messenger or bringer of good news. So even though it is not literally his name, it is a description of what it is he's doing, and that you can use it as his name in that sense to call him that. Basically, channeling as I understand it, as I've learned to understand it, is something that we all naturally have the ability to do, and that we all in fact do from time to time. It's a natural state that we get into when we're doing something we love to do, when we stop really kind of thinking about it and get out of our way, when a singer sort of falls into the song, when an actor becomes the character. That's a channeling state. So we all have the ability to do this, and it just depends on what you want to do with it when you get into that state. This is what I do with it, along with other things. Bashar does present himself as an extraterrestrial consciousness, so certainly you can talk to him that way. He can tell you anything you want about his own civilization. Again, nothing we can prove at this point. The information itself is really the proof in terms of whether it works for you or not. But if this in fact is truly an extraterrestrial telepathic contact, then basically what's happening here is a precursor to physical contact, as I understand it, as Bashar's explained it. This is kind of what they do to sort of help get us used to them and create a new vibration in which we can interact with each other more easily. So by all means, you can speak to him the way he presents himself and ask him whatever you want. The bottom line really is that he's very direct. So if there's something that's important to you to ask him, by all means, don't be shy about it. Even if it's a personal question, he usually has a knack for extracting from that question something that will help the entire gathering. So don't hold back just because of that. If you are comfortable sharing it in front of the group, then Bashar will be happy to engage you with that question, whatever it is, on any subject. Again, bottom line, the more fun you have with him, the more fun he'll have with you. And once again, I thank you very much for being here tonight. And now I'm going to go into the altered state. It will just take me a minute, When I'm in the altered state, what I experience is like a daydream. I know there's something going on, but the analogy I make is that I move over to the passenger seat and Bashar takes over driving. So I'm not paying attention to the road anymore. I don't really hear the words. I'm having my own experience, looking out the window at other things. But it's very pleasurable for me, even though when I come out of it at the end, it sort of fades like a dream. But I get infused with whatever information I need to understand in a conceptual level, in a telepathic way. So I'm having a good time. And I hope you also have a good time. So I'll see you later. Bye.
A real good day to you this day of your time. How are you all? All right. Thank you. We would like to begin this interaction this day of your time with once again extending to each and every one of you individually and all of you together collectively our deepest appreciation for the co-creation of this interaction and the allowance of this transmission in this way. Each and every time you co-create these kinds of interactions with our civilization, you are helping to form a bridge and a link between our respective realities and creating the formation of a third reality, a new vibration in which we can both interact in a variety of ways. This to us is a gift, for thus we are allowed to experience through each and every one of you another facet of the multidimensional crystal of creation. So we thank you for your gift of sharing. We would like to begin this transmission in the following way, with the idea that we have labeled shifting through infinity. We have, for quite some time, been talking with you about the concept of parallel realities, and your society is becoming more and more familiar with this concept in a variety of ways. Many even of your entertainments on your television sets and your motion pictures are now presenting ideas, and have for quite some time, of parallel realities. But the idea is that while these may seem still to be something exotic, something unusual, something that you don't necessarily know how to access, the truth is that you access them all the time. Every day, every moment. In fact, you access them billions of times per second. The idea really is to understand, as we have discussed before, is that everything already exists right now. It is all one thing. There is only here, there is only now. What you call the past, what you call the future, in a sense, are simply matters of illusionary perspective. The future and the past are perspectives, not places. They don't exist as places. They are just another way of seeing another now, another angle of the now. All the different things you call moments, this moment, that moment, from your linear space-time perspective in physical reality, are simply different perspectives, different angles, different points of view of the same now moment of existence, because there is only one. All things exist in all forms right now. So therefore, from a linear perspective, the idea of everything existing all at once is expressed in a space-time framework that you understand as multiple, simultaneously coexisting parallel realities. That's the only way for that concept to exist in a space-time referential frame. So, but the idea is that every single one of those in existing now is its own reality, its own universe, absolutely total and complete. But the idea is that it is like a series of frozen snapshots. Every single moment unto itself actually has no motion in it. The idea is very similar, as we have often explained, to the analogy of what you call your motion picture film, which is composed of several frames, each of which, unto itself, exhibits no motion whatsoever. But when you run it through your projector and when you pass the light through it onto the screen, you get the illusion of motion by picturing one frame at a time in what you call a sequence. Reality is actually structured much that way. There are this number of simultaneously coexisting frozen moments, and as you pass, in a sense, you project, in a sense, your consciousness through these moments from different perspectives, you create the illusion of motion. So the idea of parallel realities is not only that there are distinct, whole and entire other realities, similar and some not similar to your own, but that movement itself, the very idea, the very effect that you call motion even in your so-called reality is actually the product of moving through billions of parallel frozen realities to create that illusion of motion, that illusion of continuity. So accessing parallel realities is not something you have to learn how to do. It's totally automatic to your nature as a co-creator, as an aspect of creation. The idea why we are expressing this at this time is that there are ways for you to learn to use this, to become aware of the fact that you're already doing this, to expand your awareness of the total of reality to some degree. Now, granted, from the physical perspective, you will not necessarily have the capability of becoming aware of the totality of creation, but you can certainly become aware of more of it, at least that which is relevant to the window of physical reality in which you have chosen to exist, or in which you have chosen to experience your consciousness in this way. So the idea is to understand that you don't really have to learn how to access these parallel realities. You just have to learn to accelerate your ability to perceive more of what you are already a part of. And that's really all there is to it. But we would like to give you a little bit of an illustration, if we may. Lights. All right. Now, there is a device, and this device that you have on your planet will be utilized to help illustrate the point. Generally speaking, when you have multiple realities, they are vibrating in a sense, flickering, if you wish to put it that way, on and off very quickly. In a sense, analogous to the idea of what you call the strobe. The idea being that because it flashes so quickly, you get a smooth sense of continuity. But physical reality, compared to the totality of all these vibrations, is actually something more like this. So, the idea is that physical reality is really a series. Motion in physical reality is really a series of these frozen moments, but you have this, 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 this. But you do it at a rate where it seems smooth and continuous. Lights. The idea being thus, that reality is already moving, in a sense, at a very, very high rate, as we said, billions in a sense of flickers per second. But you're only perceiving so many of them to create the experience of physical reality. You can broaden that window of exactly how many flickers you're capable of perceiving and experiencing. And that's the whole idea. So, expansion, enlightenment, is really the process of stepping up your vibration, stepping up your frequency, so that you be able to match more of the beats, get in sync with more of the flickers, and thus be able to perceive more of the realities that exist already all around you, but which you find are now invisible to you if you do not actually vibrate at a rate that is commensurate with the ability to perceive more of those flickers. Does this make sense to you? Yes. So you are stepping up your frequency to be able to see more of what's already around you, of what's already right here and right now. In a sense, that's what expansion of consciousness is really all about. And that's why you hear over and over again the idea of the importance of raising your vibration, raising your frequency, which, as we have said, is very, very easy to do when you act on the things that give you the most joy in life, the most excitement in life, because the excitement is your body's physical translation of the highest frequency of your true natural self. And when you stay in sync with that frequency, you are capable of perceiving more things, more levels of the reality all around you. This is what is called inspiration, imagination, creativity. And when you are in that state of unconditional love, when you are in that state, you have access to your higher self. You form a stronger relationship with the higher self, between the higher mind and the physical mind. This methodology, this idea that you are shifting constantly, gives you the opportunity to understand that it's not about learning how to shift. It's about learning what you would prefer to shift to. Since you are shifting all the time, since shifting and manifestation and transformation are automatic and immediate, so immediate that you don't even know you're doing it, so smooth are the flickers you don't even know that it's happening, you are already manifesting reality after reality after reality after reality. This moment is really a new reality. This moment is really a new reality. This moment is really a new reality. Literally. Literally. This is not a metaphor. You have passed through several billion parallel realities during the course of this transmission. But the idea is that you're all agreeing to stay in sync so that you all experience similar parallel realities and a similar continuity in this transmission, even as we are in agreement with you to do so. This is the true power of consciousness. You are so powerful. You have no idea how powerful you are to be able to do this. You are so powerful you are unaware of how powerful you are. That's how powerful you are. It's so automatic and so smooth. You are such a creator and able to do this so automatically you don't even know you're doing it. That's how powerful you are. So the idea is to become more aware that you are doing this, and thus you can utilize what you are doing automatically by nature in a more conscious way, in a more aware way, in order to allow yourself to manifest the specific parallel reality configuration that is more representative of the reality that you say you prefer. So because, and here's the point, because you are constantly, automatically shifting immediately from parallel reality to parallel reality, the idea is that you don't have to learn how to shift. The idea is to understand that you can make a bigger degree in the difference between one parallel reality and the other, because the only reason you don't know you're shifting is because you keep creating parallel realities that are so similar to the last one, you barely notice the difference. Now, you do notice it because there is, as we said, such a thing as movement. And as we have explained, movement itself is actually a shifting through parallel realities. But again, that's not what you've been taught to understand, so you don't recognize motion as shifting through billions of realities. Even this motion required several billion parallel realities to actually experience. The idea thus is that if you wish to really see that you're manifesting immediately and automatically, then you have to create a larger degree of difference from one parallel reality to the next. And that's where the true magic of manifestation comes in. Because when you start to understand that the next parallel reality can really be defined in any way, shape, or form that you want it to be, then you can really start creating new definitions, new configurations that are very different from the reality that you had a moment ago, and you will start seeing things happening that you would describe then as miraculous or magical. Because that's all miracles are, is simply a greater shift from one parallel reality to another in terms of their configuration so that you can actually see the difference between them in a much more outstanding way. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right. So the idea is to begin to wrap your mind around the notion, begin to feel that really you are already traveling through parallel realities with ease, effortlessly. By your very nature, this is what you do. And as you begin to allow yourself more opportunity to act on your highest joy, which then makes you a magnet for the kinds of ideas, the kinds of realities, the kinds of definitions you say you prefer, you will begin to allow yourself as that attractive antenna, as that attractive magnet, to pull to you, in a sense, those configurations of parallel realities that are more in keeping and more reflective with what you say you're putting out. Because that is the law. What you put out is what you get back. Simple as that. So the idea is to begin in whatever way, shape, or form works for you within your imagination, whether it be through meditation, whether it be through some sort of activity, to begin to allow yourself to play with this notion that billions of parallel realities are passing through the projection beam of your consciousness every second. Now, for those of you a little bit more scientifically minded, because we can hear some individuals going, well, what is exactly the rate at which these parallel realities are actually shifting? And in fact, your scientists actually already know what the rate is, but they don't actually know that what they have labeled as the rate actually is the rate of shifting. They call it Planck time. For those who are familiar, the idea is there is in your scientific nomenclature a thing called Planck length, which is very, 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 very small. You want to know how small? All right. If you take what you call in your reality an atom, one atom, and you wish to measure the diameter of that atom. Now, you all know an atom is very small, yes? All right. If you want to measure the diameter of that atom in Planck lengths, so many Planck lengths, and you did it by measuring one Planck length every second, the amount of time it would take you to go from one side of that atom to the other would be 10 million times 14 billion. That's how small a Planck length is. So, Planck time is the amount of time it takes for light to travel one Planck length. So that is a very small increment of time. That is the rate at which parallel realities per second are going through you and your consciousness. That's why you don't notice it. It's a very seemingly smooth and unbroken rate of shifting. But the idea is that is the rate for the entirety of what we call spirit reality and physical reality. It encompasses all dimensions, all realities, all expressions of parallel reality of any kind. Physical reality is obviously not flickering in a sense, or you are not perceiving that many flickers. In physical reality, generally speaking, you are perceiving roughly, on average, about 60 flickers per second. That's it. That's it. Compared to billions and billions and billions and billions of flickers in that same second that represents all of the other rest of creation and reality that you are not perceiving. Obviously, you can expand that window a little bit. There's a little room for growth. And that is what we are here to talk about, and that is what we are here to play with. The idea being that you will find that even within your physical reality, as you go from what you call third density awareness to fourth density awareness, you will generally find that you will be expanding this rate of ability to perceive the flickers from the average that exists now of about 60, shall we say, frames per second, to an average of about 300 frames per second, with some people capable of attaining about 1,000 frames per second. Still not a lot compared to billions and billions and billions. Nevertheless, it will allow you to perceive quite a bit more than you're perceiving now. Allow quite a bit more synchronicity, quite a bit more miraculous and magical manifestations to automatically occur in your life. Just with that little bit of a stretch, you will be able to experience quite a bit more. Again, at whatever rate that you are capable of opening and broadening this window, it is up to you. You don't have to rush. You don't have to push yourselves. Remember, everything is now. So in a sense, you have all the time in creation. So no rush. You don't have to be in a hurry. You don't have to say, oh, when am I going to get there? I need to hurry up. I'm very impatient. Remember, the only reason you need patience is because you are impatient to get somewhere other than here. But if you understand that here is all there is, and you truly appreciate what here is all about, and live in that moment, you will not care about being anywhere but here, or any when but here. And so, when you are not impatient to get anywhere else, you will no longer need to be patient. You will be having so much fun just being who you are, where you are, and when you are, that you will never want to be anywhere but here and now and you. So, the idea, thus then, for the moment, would be to relax, close your eyes, and let us begin a little bit of an expansive push of this concept for you. Now, as you relax, tomorrow of your time, this transmission will also contain, as was already mentioned, the idea of sacred circuitry. These will be diagrams that will function as permission slips to help you create certain kinds of states which can allow your neurology, your brain neurology, to wire itself and rewire itself in a manner to aid and assist in your ability to perceive more of these flickers. But we will get into that and that now. This now, we will do this. Allow yourself to take 3 deep, relaxing breaths. In and out. In and out. In and out. And just continue to breathe easily. And as you do, just allow yourself to imagine in whatever way, shape, or form you so desire, in whatever way works best for you. Imagine yourself standing in a place, whatever place that may be, on a city street, in a meadow, near the ocean, it does not matter. Whatever might be your favorite place. Whatever gives you peace. Whatever gives you joy. Whatever is a reflection of that sense of solitude. As you thus then stand there in your mind's eye and envision that environment, allow yourselves to see all motion cease. You can still move, but it is as if you are standing in a frozen tableau, a diorama in a museum, where everything is frozen in whatever movement it was making at the time you froze it. The birds in the air are frozen in mid-flight. The waves of the ocean are frozen. Everything is still, unmoving. You can look at it, you can walk around, you can examine it from all sides, all angles, whatever object you wish to. But nothing moves but you. Now, after you have satisfied yourself that nothing is moving, allow yourself to allow the next frame to click in. Just one frame, click. Just a little bit of motion, just a hint. Just a tiny bit. And then allow the next frame, click. And the next, click. And the next, click. And click, 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 click. Allow the motion to slowly resume, but a frame at a time. Click, 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 click. And give yourself the ability to imagine that as it remains at that rate where you can still see things clicking, don't let it go so fast that you can't see it clicking. Still let it click. That you can move at whatever pace you wish to independently, and you can go to any object, you can adjust anything, you can change any scenario, you can turn the sky a different color, you can make it a different time of day, you can rearrange the positions of any people or any objects, you can even change them into different people or different objects if you wish. Click, 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 click. Let all these changes come about according to what you desire, according to what image and what vision represents to you the idea of an ideal, preferred, joyful, peaceful reality, however you wish to imagine it. But see yourself rearranging it by click, by click, by click, similar to how you would rearrange furniture in your homes. Oh, I think that would look nice over there. Oh, I think this could be a different color. Oh, I think I would like that a little bigger. I think I would like that a little smaller. I think I would like this to come in. I think I would like that to go out. Click, 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 click. As you move through this reality, one reality, another reality, another reality, another reality, yet maintaining your sense of continuity, your sense of self, your self-awareness, your sense of consciousness. You see it all. You see it all happening at a comfortable rate, a rate of awareness where you can make these changes easily, effortlessly, because the reality is waiting for you. It is taking its cue from your consciousness at the rate at which it changes and the degree to which it changes. The rate at which you perceive it is up to you. Click, 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 click. Allow yourself thus then to envision whatever represents to you in any given scenario a vision and a picture of your ideal reality where you are at peace, you are at joy, you are creative, you are loving, you are loved, that life is effortless, that the challenges are exciting, and that you know that this is truly who you are and can see and feel and hear and taste and smell and touch, and all your other senses are aware that this is your true self in this place, that this is reflective and representative of your true frequency, your true vibration as a co-creator. Click, 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 click. And when you have the image where you prefer it to be, you can allow yourself to wait, hold it for a frozen moment to see everything there, ready to move but not moving, like actors waiting to go on stage, and then let it run. Let it ramp up and see that reality in as realistic a way as you perceive your reality to be. And then understand that you have breathed life into this. You have created a magnetization and an attraction to this frequency, to yourself, by doing this in this way. You can do this anytime you wish, as a technique, as a tool, as a permission slip. For remember, two important things. All techniques, all tools, all rituals are nothing but permission slips. You give yourself permission to be more of who you are by using whatever tool, technique, and ritual seems to work best for you in your imagination. That's all any tool, object, or technique or ritual is. A permission slip to allow you, according to your belief systems and definitions of reality, to give yourself permission to be more of who you are each and every time you do it. So use this technique whenever you wish, however you wish, to whatever degree you wish, playfully, lovingly, joyfully, creatively, imaginatively. And know that it is magnetizing you, magnetizing that reality to you. Now, secondly, understand and remember, as we have discussed, there is the higher mind, there is the physical mind. The physical mind is conjuring this image of your ideal reality. But the physical mind is not designed necessarily to conjure the ultimate picture of the best possible way things could manifest for you. So this representation is exactly that. It is a symbolic representation of the ideal reality. And the most important thing about it is not how it looks. The most important thing about it is the vibrational resonance of how it feels. Because that resonance is what is being transmitted to your higher mind, and the higher mind can then be allowed to do its job of going about the business of bringing to you the true elements that will actually allow you to experience the resonance that is represented by that picture, but it may come in a different form. It might come the way you've pictured it, but it might come in a different form, and the secret is to let it. Because your higher mind is the only part of you that knows how things are going to happen. Physical mind is not designed to know how things are going to happen. Physical mind is only designed to know how things are happening. So let the higher mind do its job, work in concert with it, and while you have that absolute picture that represents that absolute ideal, be willing to drop your expectation and insistence that it must come out that way, because what to the physical mind is the ceiling, to the higher mind is the floor. And the higher mind is far more capable of bringing you a picture that is far greater than the physical mind is even capable of imagining. So please, by all means, let it. And don't insist that the ideal reality must happen exactly as the physical mind has pictured it, because that is just a template. It's just a symbol to get you in the proper state to allow the higher mind to do its job and bring you what is representative of that resonant state, that magnetic, attractive state you have created by conjuring up that picture. So that picture has done its job. Don't insist that it must look exactly like the physical mind pictured it. Otherwise, you'll actually be limiting the way the higher mind can actually bring you something that would be so much grander than you can imagine. You are shutting the door by insisting on that picture. It could come that way, but why not allow it to come in a way that is even beyond your imagining, more exciting than you could have imagined? Let the higher mind work with you, because you are
All right, I'll say good day to you this day of your time, and welcome once again to the transmission of the Interstellar Alliance Social Experiment, Step 6, which is titled Gatherings. The idea now in Step 6 is connected to what you have already called CE5s, Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind, where you gather together with other like-minded individuals to create communication, connection, and contact from humans up to ETs, to do several things that can grab, as you say, the attention of UFOs passing by, to ask them to stop or to show themselves or to demonstrate that they are something different than your airplanes, than your satellites, by maneuvering in certain ways you know that you do not generally have the technology to exhibit. So these gatherings can be either that you find individuals and groups that are already doing this in certain areas on your planet and you can join them, or using your own creative imagination to create such a gathering, to pull together people, initiating a gathering of your own and demonstrating through the flashing of lights. Do not use lasers. The flashing of regular lights in patterns, the idea of meditations, reaching out telepathically to ships passing by, to ask them with respect to stop, to show themselves to you, to demonstrate unusual maneuvers, to begin the contact process from your side as well as from our side, to start learning how to initiate the idea of the invitation to create communion, connection, contact, community between humans on Earth and your galactic family. So gatherings are important. Find a place. Generally speaking, it is best if it is somewhat remote. We have before talked about certain areas on your planet, such as Joshua Tree, as being more conducive to receiving interaction from UFOs, UAPs, from our ships, whatever you wish to call them, doesn't matter to us. But putting these gatherings together not only builds connection between humans on Earth and ETs, but also connections between the humans themselves with each other, to create communities of similar vibration, to get you all into a similar frequency, to be willing to be open to contact, which is not so very far away. So this is an acceleration, an opportunity with the changing frequencies that now exist on your planet to choose to navigate in the direction of the versions of the parallel reality Earths that will experience contact in the not so distant future. In just a few years, it will begin. But this will help accelerate, unify, bond within a similar frequency many humans on your planet, if you will be willing to undertake the joining of groups that are doing this or creating your own groups. This will accelerate that bonding experience. This will create a broader frequency around the planet, depending upon how many of you are willing to do this, that can establish the correct frequency to navigate to the versions of Earth that will experience open contact. Allow yourself to be creative. Allow yourself to be imaginative. Allow yourself to be bold and go forth. Allow yourself to be connected, to be open, to be willing, to receive, to give, to form the link, to form the bridge between your world and our worlds, between your world and the stars, between your soul and our souls, between your spirits and our spirits, between your minds and our minds. Do these gatherings, if you wish, as step 6 of the Interstellar Alliance social experiment, because it involves activity, action, doing. It involves the commitment to the idea of being willing to participate in open contact, in the Interstellar Alliance social experiment being given to Earth, to you, as a gift to allow you to experience more of yourselves as you experience more of the cosmos, more of the family that awaits you out here, and that can eventually come to Earth, so that you understand that Earth is your home. Not just the idea of any specific city, not just the idea of any specific country, but that you begin energetically to dissolve the borders and understand that Earth is your home, that you start identifying the entire planet as your home, that you reach out as the entire planet from your home to our homes among the stars. So gather, enjoy, reach out, feel unconditional love, both in giving and receiving, and invite us to interact with you. There will be more and more each time you do this, a buildup of the frequency and more responses until such time as you will know beyond a shadow of a doubt that we are here around your world, interacting with you, sending you love, sending you joy, and that it is our passion and our pleasure to be welcome into your home as we welcome you into ours. So gather, gather, and gather together. We thank you for allowing us to share Step 6 of the Interstellar Alliance social experiment, and we thank you for your willingness to be of service to humanity and to the cosmos in this way, by your participation. In return for the gift you have given us in allowing us to experience all of you, I ask, as usual, now, in what way may we continue to be of service to you? Please begin with your dialogue.
Hi, Bashar. I would like to, first of all, thank you for your love and wisdom that you shared with us. It was really exciting journey and it helped me so much. And I love to see the synchronicity popping into my life when I act on my joy. So thank you.
Yes, it is our passion and our pleasure. What would you like to discuss this day?
Yes, first question is about my counterpart from Sirius. I meditated and I saw a woman with octopus hair. Am I on the right track, or can you tell me more about her?
Well, you're getting a symbolic representation of the fact that they are amphibious creatures. They don't look like that. They don't have what you call octopus hair. But the idea is that they are amphibious. They look a little bit more like what you would call a salamander, something similar to that idea, or a cross between a salamander and a humanoid form. But they don't have octopus hair. But that's your symbol for reflecting the idea that they spend a lot of their time in the water, that they are highly intelligent, as octopi also are, or octopuses if you prefer. But the idea is that simply something that is most closely related to the idea of the Sirius beings in their amphibious form. So you are making that connection. It's just that you have a more symbolic representation of how they appear rather than a literal one.
Okay. Is she having a message for me?
To go forth, to be bold, to be yourself, to be true, to dig deep into your emotionality and understand how the emotions work with belief systems to reinforce the idea of whatever reality you believe is true for you.
Okay, thank you. All right, my next question is about an ET encounter that I had this year. I was making asleep my son, and it was foggy outside. And we make fun with my partner when it's foggy that ETs are doing some stuff behind the scene. And all of a sudden, I saw a big white tall being behind my glass window, and it started to enter the room with hand, and then it started to elongate the fingers, and I got really scared. I don't know who the being was and what was the person. Can you tell me more about that?
Why were you scared?
Oh, I don't know how to overcome this fear because I did the exercise with the picture on the window, and I tried to work with my limiting beliefs. I don't know, it just was fight or flight. Like I felt like I will be eaten, like a dinosaur is approaching, basically.
Yes, all right. Well, again, this is relatively common at this stage in human evolution, in that when you are exposed to higher frequency beings, you interpret that, or your body interprets that, as if you are being exposed to spirit, which your body interprets as if you are dying. And that's why you go into panic mode, survival mode, fight or flight mode, because you interpret the frequency as if your mind is dying. You're not going to die, but that's the way your body interprets that frequency until such time as you allow yourself enough practice to get used to it so that you don't fear dying anymore when you feel that frequency, that energy. So this being was giving you an opportunity to practice being exposed to their higher frequency, to get used to the idea over time so that by the time open contact happens, your people will not panic. You will not fear that exposure to our higher frequencies will cause you to die. So this is simply an opportunity to practice letting go and letting your body calm down when exposed to that higher frequency.
What can I do to, let my body calm down in that moment?
Well, you can talk to your body consciousness and let it know, have a conversation with it, let it know that it's not going to die, that this is going to be an ecstatic experience, that it will include your body consciousness in this experience. It will not be annihilated. You have to spend some time actually calming it down by having conversations with your body consciousness, with your physical mind. So let your spirit talk to your physical mind. Let your soul, your higher mind, talk to your physical mind. Set aside time to actually have conversations. Explain what's going on to yourself, to your physical mind, and let it become used to the idea and let it know that it will not be annihilated and it will not die, because it can raise its frequency with you and become a fourth density being that can thrive in that higher frequency, that you yourself are becoming higher in frequency. And therefore, as you get used to the higher frequency within your own body, you can also get used to the higher frequencies of other beings who may come to you. So have those conversations with your physical mind.
Okay.
Explain it as you would explain it to a child.
Okay, I will do. And was the being from Sirius, or was it some different species?
No, it was a different species. It may be a mix of what you call Pleiadian and tall white.
Okay, all right. Thank you. My third question is about a challenge I'm going through.
Yeah.
And my son, he's a toddler, and he doesn't like to sleep, or he sleeps very little since being baby. And I know sleep is vital. It's one of the 7 needs.
Yes, but remember, we also talk about the idea that the new generations are different and may not necessarily have the same biological rhythms as those people on your planet from the past. So let it find its own natural rhythm, your child. Let him sleep when he knows he needs to sleep. Let it be a natural thing. Don't force it.
Okay. And how about me? Because I'm really tired. Can I somehow replace or get energy from different source, or what should I do?
Again, you must find your own natural biological rhythm. There may be times when you need to be asleep, when you think you should be awake, and times when you should be awake, when you think you need to be asleep. So you need to find your own natural rhythm that energizes you, resets you, refreshes you, but it may be at different times of the day or night than you think. So fall into a more natural rhythm. When you have energy, be awake. When you feel tired, go to sleep, no matter what time it is. If you need to arrange for someone to look after your child while you sleep, do so.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Thank you. And I have one more question. It's regarding a tortoise, because I got a tortoise, and it's.
Are you saying tortoise?
Tortoise. Yeah. Correct.
Tortoise.
Yes, exactly. The turtle on the ground.
Yes.
So, and yeah, it's very strange because I feel very loved by that being, and I would never get the tortoise. And yeah, so is there something I'm learning from the tortoise, or is there some connection to reptilians and ETs?
To some degree, but mostly it's a symbol of slow down a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Take your time,
Okay.
enjoy the moment, stay in the present.
Yeah, okay.
All right?
Okay. All right, thank you so much, Bashar.
You are so welcome.
Hey, what's going on, Bashar? It's Rohan, aka RX Mundi from Bucks County, PA. Back with another question. As you might remember, I am a rap artist, and I do have a upcoming project titled Dark Night of the Soul. It's an EP that I've been working on. And I was just curious to get your perspective, maybe you and your civilization. How do you define a Dark Night of the Soul? Do you have them on your planet? Any insights into this? causes, maybe like maybe what's like the purpose of a dark night of the soul. You hear it talked about a lot in like spiritual circles. And yeah, any information you could share on that, I would greatly appreciate. And thanks so much for your time, as always, Bashar. Aveo.
No, we do not have them on our planet because we are willing to face our challenges with full consciousness. The dark night of the soul is a device that humans often use to isolate themselves in a way where they force themselves to go finally in a direction that they need to go in because they simply have no other choice. They either have to face it and come up with an inspiration that leads them in a direction that will serve them and expand them, or often they will simply take themselves out of physical reality and they will die. So the idea is to allow yourself to understand that this is the general purpose of the dark night of the soul in human terms, is to put yourself in a situation where you have no choice but to either move forward or leave this physical reality. The synchronicity that you are experiencing at this moment is that it is your higher self calling to you to get you to pay attention to something that is very important. And that is the synchronicity of the sound that you are hearing right now. You are receiving a call from your soul, from your higher mind, from your higher self, to really isolate what's really important in your life, to figure that out and make a choice that leads you in a direction toward the light of your being that will allow you to finally break free from the idea of negativity, from fear-based beliefs, and truly be yourself. Truly move in that direction. You give yourself no choice by putting yourself through that degree of challenge in your life. But remember, you have to be a very strong soul and a very strong spirit in order to have attracted that experience to yourself. So having a dark night of the soul is often a very powerful sign of how powerful you are as a spirit in your capability to transform your life in a positive way by going through that challenging experience. That's what it's for. It removes any other option from you other than the idea of moving straight forward as your true self, or simply leaving physical reality altogether and starting again.
Hi.
Good day to you,
It's an honor to speak with you.
as it is for us with you as well.
Thank you. My first question is, I do things like automatic writing.
All
I've
right.
seen things before they happen,
Yes.
and I have at one point left my physical body, and there are various other things.
All right. How exciting.
Yes. How how can I use this within this lifetime to uplift humanity? Like, what is the purpose of me even knowing this at this time?
Well, these things are the result and side effects of the expansion of consciousness going on your planet at this time. Certainly, through automatic writing, you can bring through information that may be of assistance and helpful to other people, yes?
Yes,
So isn't that of service to humanity in that particular method?
yes,
And seeing things before they physically manifest, isn't that also something that could be in some way, shape, or form used to serve others?
yes,
Because you understand that prediction is simply an awareness of the energy that exists at the moment the prediction is made. If you sense that energy and tell someone what the energy is that you're sensing, what the likelihood is of something manifesting, and it's something they don't prefer, then you've given them an opportunity to realize what the energy is like and how they may be able to change it if it is something that they would rather change. Isn't that being of service to someone as well?
yes, it is.
So why is it so mysterious and so strange about how to use these expanded consciousness abilities in service to humanity?
Um, I guess I guess I really don't know the answer to that, except for the fact that I didn't know anybody in my personal life who was able to do anything like that, and I always felt just completely different from everybody around me.
All right, well, it's becoming more common, and many more people understand that these abilities are possible.
Yes.
And therefore, when you are out of body, you could go different places, you could gather information, you could bring it back to humanity in different ways on different subjects. This is a lot of what some of the ancient, shall we say, priestesshood used to do in Atlantis, in ancient Egypt. They would go into these out of body states, they would go and gather information from higher realms and bring that information back and apply it in their society. And that can be information about anything. It can be information about the nature of humanity, the nature of nature. It can be the nature of technology. It can be all sorts of cosmic information and answers that could help humanity. So you can go and gather information out of body, bring it back, remember to transmit or write this information down, and share it with those who are willing to receive it. Is that not something you think you can do?
Absolutely, thank you.
All right. So
Um,
then you can be of humanity's service in many different ways, yes?
yes, yes,
All right.
yes, absolutely.
All right. So,
My next question is, in your realm, where you live,
yes.
um, how does your society interact with animals and the earth in order to like how do they?
On our world of Sessathani, we interact with animals all the time. But our world is left relatively natural. We don't have big built up cities. Our cities are our spaceships. So when we are on our planet physically, the animals, in a sense, have the run of the place, I suppose you would say, and everything operates on pure synchronism. So the animals will come to us, or we will find animals that wish to engage with us, wish to communicate with us in a variety of telepathic ways, and we enjoy these communions and interactions very much. They are intelligent beings, they have their own reflections, they have their own purpose, they have their own lives, and we interact with them as we would interact with any member of our society.
That's beautiful. Would you be able to provide information as to how we could interact with animals in a kinder, more respectful way, and just being able to communicate with them?
Yes, well, most animals will communicate with the idea of visualization. In other words, send them pictures and feelings rather than words. They will pick up on that, and they will get used to that form of communication coming from humans, which at this point is relatively rare, except for those humans who have really developed a love bond with animals. So the idea is that they will receive those pictures, see them doing what it is you are attempting to communicate with them, and see them doing it in your mind's eye, and send the feeling that goes with it. Send feelings of love with the pictures that you imagine them performing, those actions in the visualization, in your imagination, and eventually you will see them reflecting those actions themselves. And you will start to develop more telepathic communication with them. Remember, it's not telepathy, it's telempathy. You have to have a bond, a love bond with the animal.
And and can you do something similar with the plants with the earth itself?
Absolutely.
That makes sense. And
I
one
know.
final quick question would be, when we speak about love, to me, when I like there are moments where I feel like it's almost like an eternal love, but
Yes,
it feels like a stillness, a very,
it
very, very
is.
still.
It is. The idea of what you translate as the sensation of unconditional love is your physical translation of the frequency of existence itself. That's how you translate it. So it's going to feel infinite, eternal, and still, but at the same time will feel very active and engaging and energetic, because it is the actual frequency of existence itself.
Wow. That's that is very beautiful, and I'm sure I could have another million questions to ask you, but thank you so much for providing this information, for contacting us, for thank you so much. I truly feel honored.
It is our passion and our pleasure, and we are honored as well. Good day. Aveo.
Good day. Okay.
Hi, Bashar. 1 month ago, I birthed a beautiful baby boy, and I am looking for clarity and help on releasing the story of trauma that I am telling myself of how I could have created the birthing experience that I did. I was planning a at-home all-natural water birth, and because of complications and because my son did not arrive until almost 43 weeks, we ended up at the hospital having to go through every medical procedure I did not want, that I did not plan for, which ended up resulting in an emergency C-section to save my son and I's life. If you can please help me to understand how I may have created this, how we create the things around the birthing experience, and if you can give any insights on why a soul might choose to come in versus C-section or vaginal birth, and if my son chose this.
All of it was chosen by both of you to experience challenges in a way that allows you to drop your insistence and your assumption about how you think things need to happen. So you gave yourself an opportunity to learn a valuable lesson about not being so insistent on the idea of what you typically call a spiritual way of doing things, so that you can validate all pathways as being equally spiritual if they are capable of providing the lessons you need to learn for your soul's growth in this life. So your child helped you understand this by taking you through a completely unexpected series of experiences on the path of birthing something that includes not only the birthing of your child, but the birthing of a new you that will relax your insistence on the way you think things need to go in order to accomplish what you need in this life. It doesn't mean you have to suffer or have to experience pain to do so, but it was a lesson that made you face the idea that sometimes you may be invalidating pathways that actually would be what you actually need for your soul's growth, rather than simply assuming that you can do things in what your society more classically might say is a more spiritual way, as if you should be beyond the idea of experiencing physical reality, which is equally valid to any spiritual experience whatsoever. So it's about relaxing the idea of separating the validation and the validity of spiritual experiences from spirit, and allowing yourself to accept that it is all a spiritual experience. Good day, good day.
Good day. So good to virtually see you.
And you as well.
I have been recently very much excited about my life and about valuing myself, and that's a new thing. So, yay to me.
All right, congratulations.
Just catching up, a little slim, a little, just perfect timing.
Yes.
And I've been having a lot of fun exploring around, being myself. I sometimes still get the reflections in the outside of resistance, but I know that's just an illusion, and I just laugh at it and sell my deodorant anyway.
All right. Again,
So,
of course, it is the remembrance that it's not so much what happens, but it's about what you do with what happens that makes the difference.
Okay, that's really good to remember. Because sometimes I do choose to match that lower frequency, because the negative belief is, well, this is my only option, and that's not true.
No, not at all. Never. There's always a path for you, that works for you, that is representative of your truth. Always. You just have to have the willingness to open up your imagination and creativity to find it or even invent it.
Yes. I also think I was buying into a belief, or even a definition about waiting or being in a lull of, okay, I'm waiting for something I prefer, or I'm being myself until something more preferable comes up and I want to interact. And I I was defining, excuse me, defining waiting for that as a lull and negative, and it's not. It's cool. I'm just going to be me until something shows up that I want to interact with.
Yes, and the more that you are willing to be you, you will find that you will accelerate what will come to you.
Yes, I'm learning that. I'm seeing that. I'm excited to be cat's got my tongue. To be more of myself, in a specific area. I'm finding more like-minded people there, and um I'm excited to explore my creative gifts. I've been seeing signs and symbols related to the hybrid kids. My symbol with them is starfish, so I've been seeing a lot of starfish synchronicities.
Yes.
Um, and
Perhaps that's a good nickname for you.
yes, that is a good nickname for me. Are there any other symbols that they want to throw out there, or is that enough for now? Me and
That is enough for now. Starfish will do.
it will do very well. Um, yeah, so I think I've been defining meditation in a limiting way as well, which is
All right.
interesting to learn. I've been viewing it as a separation, like, okay, my life's so exciting. Okay, now I'm gonna go meditate over here.
Remember that following your passion is an active meditation.
Absolutely. There's no separation between meditation and acting on my excitement.
No, none. If you wish to meditate in the traditional sense, then you're simply following your passion. You're not doing anything other than that.
I think I was defining meditation as like, let me go be quiet for a while, and that's challenging
That's
sometimes.
all right. Being quiet for a while can also be an expression of your passion.
Yeah, I think I'm learning to redefine rest and recuperation and rejuvenation as all part of the excitement. And
Absolutely. It's not an interruption in it. Just as when you are acting on your passion and something may come up within you that represents a negative belief, then you have to understand that that's not an interruption in your excitement. It's part of your excitement to discover that so that you can let it go. So finding that you need rest and recuperation doesn't have to be seen as an interruption in your flow. It can actually be seen as part of your flow.
yes, the other redefinition I'm making is when being alone, I'm still with everyone, all connected with my guides, with all of us. It just I'm taking
Always.
that always. I'm just
Always.
taking that alone moment, but I've been defining it as
All right.
alone versus with people, which is again not correct.
All right. Well, it's not that it's not correct, it's simply a choice. So you can either see it as alone in the sense of separation, or you can see it as all one.
It's up to me, 100%.
It's up to you. This is all about you understanding how important it is to learn what definitions work for you and what definitions do not.
Absolutely. And it's easier for me to discern now when I'm buying into these. So that is sinking in, and I'm grateful for that. And I'm just going to continue on that journey of realizing when I'm choosing to buy into a negative belief. And it's been fun. And I love you and our Bashar community so, so, so very much.
Our unconditional love to you as well, Starfish.
Thank you so much, Bashar. Okay, one more question.
Yes.
The Pleiadians, they are our cousins and they are likely to visit Earth. Are they more, I know likely is such a relative term,
Well, they are
but
visiting Earth quite often.
and they are going to be making open contact possibly even before the Yael or with at the same time.
That is not absolutely given, but the introduction of hybrids to human society and the introduction of Pleiadians to human society will occur somewhere around the same window of time. It is a little bit challenging at this point to say who will really be first. There may be a mix of things, but nevertheless, both of them are, shall we say, in the running to be up front, or at least within a similar window of time in the introduction of ETs to human society on Earth.
Is there any other race of beings that are in the running to be in the first couple?
How about letting Earth humans deal with hybrids and Pleiadians first?
Sounds great. Good idea.
All right.
So
You'll get
glad
used to
be
the
part of
different
it.
species over time. The introductions will happen as humans become ready for them. But let's start simply. Let's start with those that are most like you, so that there is some degree of familiarity in the sense, literally, of the word family. So that way you can absorb their existence, and we will talk a little bit more about this in the upcoming Sedona transmission.
Thank you so much, Bashar. I love you so much, and you get free deodorant, and I love you.
We thank you. We don't need the deodorant, but we thank you nonetheless.
Love you.
You as well. Good day.
Good day.
Hello, dear Bashar. My name is Nadezhda. I would like to ask you something. Could you please explain what is the reason for sudden death? My dad died on the 23rd of July. He fainted suddenly. Then after a few minutes he was conscious. We called the ambulance. The doctors got him in the ambulance, and 5 minutes later he stopped breathing. In hospital they couldn't do anything to save him. Why would the soul choose this death and not instant recovery or to remain alive in a parallel reality, for example? I have prayed to God, all the archangels, to you, to my dad's parents, and my prayers didn't help to save his life. Why did the intelligence who creates worlds didn't manage to save his life? We have a camera in our house, and the camera stopped recording the whole day on the 23rd of July. Was nothing. What was the reason for that? 1 minute you are here alive, and in the next hour suddenly you are gone. Thank you. Aveo, much love.
The important thing here to understand is everyone chooses the timing of their death. It's not about being saved to be alive. You are invalidating the choice of that spirit to leave when he did. So don't invalidate those choices just because you miss that person or because you are going through grief or pain. Do not invalidate their choice. They're doing it for a reason, and you can benefit from that reason if you remain connected to their spirit. The reason that the camera didn't record anything is because exactly it wasn't supposed to. Because the idea is it was a symbol that he chose his life to be over. At that point, there was nothing more to record, nothing more to do that you could have done. It's not about the idea of looking to God, goddess, or a larger intelligence to do something about it, because that intelligence is not going to contradict what the individual soul has chosen for the timing of its life experience and when it is done with what it is it came to do. So you have to start seeing all these things as the absolute valid choice that the spirit and soul made. You're taking away its choice to have a free will to determine what is correct for it by assuming that something went wrong. So understand that you both chose this, you both did it by agreement. It is for you now to stretch yourself into spirit, to open yourself up that you still have a connection to him, and that will stretch you to expand your consciousness and expand yourself to include the idea of the spirit realm in your physical life by knowing that he's still part of your family. You are not alone. He is there for you when you need him. But the idea is you can invalidate